trying a new mic position, seeing if this is any good. Can I do all the things that I need to do with the mic over here and it still sound, like I'm talking? How you doing? It's a Saturday morning. Wow, that's a day. So today we're going to be playing PBTA. We're going to be revisiting our barbarian. Oh, hey Hershey, thanks for the look. Hope you're doing well today. You're always awake. Goodness. So yeah, we're going to do some PBTA and with Gura's Fellows, named after the city that I promised was randomly generated in my hex roll instance. Now where's my hex roll instance? That's the that's the one. Let's allow. There's probably going to be a little bit of admin. Why is there going to be a little bit of admin? Because, well, if you take a look down here, we've kind of changed the universe a little bit. So we've now only got 3 stats: body, mind, and self. And then a standard array of +1, -1, 0. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. So the special for the barbarian being tough hide, giving them a 3 point of armor. We've expended a point of luck in our previous adventure. We've got 3 XP points, and we're currently bruised. Now, if we remember, we were also I've got the wee books as well that we'll have to label up for some play. We are cursed because we upset a hag by walking through her vegetable patch. We are enfeebled. We've got some mushrooms of invisibility. That's something else. We are not currently invisible. I think our invisibility just wore off. But, this is the eternal problem. I'm going to have to really... looking forward to checking how the sound functions when I get off of this, right? From when I'm kind of looking down to when I'm looking forward, right? The magic user is for something else. For guard is for something else. For dead flail snail, we killed a flail snail, if we all remember. That was exciting. I think that's poison for someone else. For giant stone statue for someone else. We were sick, but we're not sick anymore. Bah! Harm, reinforce, pylon, 1 harm. I think that's some dudes that we killed, and we were in room 3. That's why I've got this card. Now, what we're also going to be using quite a bit of, I feel, is going to be the 1-page location crafter, because after we used that for Traveller on... When was it we used it for Traveller? Thursday? No, Thursday we did Fading Suns. We used it for Traveller on Wednesday. That's the day. And that was fun. I really enjoyed using it. I thought it generated kind of cool stuff. But let's just do the book first. What we got? This is the Doodle book. Adventures of Gura's Fellows. Doodles. I've not done any doodles for this one yet, but it's here. It's an opportunity. We might do it one day. One thing I'm still really curious about is whether or not the multi-stream chat actually, because the problem is, the multi-stream chat doesn't work properly in Streamlabs desktop because it doesn't pick up VStream. But it'd be good if it did work for both. Every now and again, I think it might work for Twitch and YouTube, but nah. No one ever goes to Twitch and YouTube anyway. Stuff them. Terrible platforms. It's all about VStream. That's where the nice people are. So again, adventures of Gura's Fellows. So I did find it's very funny when the map random generated with the capital city of Gura. So what's this? This is the map. mapping, maps. This will be adventures. Adventures of Guras. Fellows. I mean, of course, there can be many fellows, right? Dead fellows can be replaced by new alive fellows. Fellows that get eaten by, infinity portals can be replaced. It's all fine. We can have infinite fellows as long as they operate. As long as they originally came from around the area, right? Fellows, and this is logbook. Now, something else. I can't remember if I... And because this is because I'm terrible with memories. For a start, let's just go over here. Look at... So this was the city that randomly generated, the city of Gura. It's the capital city of the kingdom of Viviana. And it was good fun. So this is Hexroll, which is a tool that randomly generates hex crawls and dungeons. My main gripes with it, if we're going to do gripes first, main gripes would be it can get a bit repetitive. The dungeons are only one tier. That's it, really, for complaints. So I remember I was running through it with a friend last week, and we came across, I think, in the same dungeon, we came across 3 wives who'd been kidnapped and chained to walls in the same dungeon, right? That's an impressive number of wives being kidnapped and put into dungeons. And also the dungeons kind of lack a coherent. Let's say a coherent concept. Each room is randomly generated, so there's no kind of consistent factions to it. I think that probably if they generated factions, then populated the dungeon with those factions, then it would be more interesting. Anyway, so yeah, that's cool. And the towns are cool, everything's cool. But those would be the 2 things that I'd really, I'd focus on if I were them. So yeah. That's Gura. This is the kingdom of Viviana. We're next to the land of Erazor and the land of Ishador. We also have over here the wee island of Elva. But our character was currently in this dungeon, I do believe. Yeah, the caverns of burning slaves. I think that's the one we were in. The other one is the Temple of the Grey Witch. Another thing I need to do, if we go to Foundry for a second, the question is, do we have... I can't remember if I had if I'd created a Foundry instance for this. I don't think I have. Urban Shadows... Candle Obscura, Death in Space. It's Saturday. I hope everyone's having a good Saturday morning. Well, or evening, or night. I doubt there are many evenings, right? Unless you're in like East Asia, Asia Pacific area, right? I think America's all still soundly asleep, or at least I'd be soundly asleep if I was in America. Maybe it'd just be my standard disposition, to be frank. I don't have one. Okay, let's create a new world. This won't take long, I promise. Fellows. Oh, Gura. System. PBTA. Create world. There we go. Let's not worry about that for now. It's a very easy one that we can take. System help and tutorial. Defaults. Something with 3 options. That'd probably be good. No, this is way too much faffing about. I can't be bothered with that. That's fine. We'll do that later. I'll probably do that this evening. We'll just need the journal. And we need some modules, because we always need a few modules. What modules do we need? Well, I always run with... I'll install... Card tiles, yeah. Chat images, chat portraits, clipboard images. Dice so nice, because you always need dice so nice. Dice tray, because dice tray is awesome if you're using Foundry. If you're using Foundry, these two, dice so nice and dice tray, if you've not discovered them, use them. If you're not using anything else, those will make your life happier. Dwarves entice with dice so nice. Yeah, we always like some more dice. I don't need quest log. I don't need freeform sheets. I don't need FX master. I don't need GM note. No, yeah, I don't need the notes. I don't need the screen. I always install GM notes, but I never use it. It's kind of one of those things that I always kind of imagine would be really useful, but it's not. I was playing around with in-world AI chatbot for a while, so this is quite funny if you're doing solo stuff. What I was using it for was in a Star Wars, a kind of Star Wars trial run, and you can basically give it like the wiki page for Han Solo, and it'll like pretend to be Han Solo. It's pretty cool for that kind of thing. And I've got I've got lots of qualms about Gen AI and AI in general, but I'm more than happy to rip off Disney and LucasArts. That's fine. They've got enough change. It's fine. They can live without. LCARs, levels, libs, minimal UI, minimize buttons. We want monks. Scene navigation, that's the most important one. Mythic, that's the most important one. And we probably want tabletop RPG audio as well, right? That's probably something that we want. Portrait box, I quite like the portrait box, but it's more useful for when I've got a more populated environment than this. Scabbard, quick insert. All right, so another one that if you use, particularly if you use really heavy modules, so ones with lots and lots of compendiums, with lots of items and skills and all that nonsense, quick insert's great because you can kind of control space and type what you're looking for, and then you can either click it to open it or drag it onto sheets and stuff. So that, or onto the scene, the canvas, and that's really useful. I don't really need share media. We're not going to have anything to share. Oh, we will have a sidebar resizer. That could be good. Simultaneous combat system. I don't need any of that. I don't need the time tracker. This is mostly just for note-taking and Mythic, to be frank. We do want tabletop RPG music. Tile sort, tile scrolls. I use X card for when I'm playing with actual people, which is rare, particularly with new people, right? I normally only play with the same old people, so yeah, I think that's it. Save modules. Yes. Doobity-doo-be-doo-be-doo. Yeah, fine, whatever. And then, so the thing with the PBTA is that you can use that markdown language, that, it's not markdown, whatever language it is. Is it JSON? No, it's not JSON. It's the other one. I can't remember what it's called. It uses that to a markup language, a markdown language, something or other, to make the character sheet. So it's pretty cool and versatile that way. But whatever. We want a journal. Create a journal. What's it called? We're called Resma. Resma the Barbarian. barbarian story. Right. So we want add a page. Okay. Why? Right. Well, we're broke, aren't we? Are we broke? I can't remember why we're here. I'm sure there's a good reason for us being here. I must have had notes somewhere. I'm sure I must have had notes somewhere at some point. But yeah, we're raiding the dungeon of, what was it? Raiding the caverns of burning slaves. Evocative name. Caverns of burning slaves. So I would kind of like imagine a very beastie, heavy event here. This is you know how I was saying it can get a bit repetitive, right? Here it's got in a cave located behind a giant skull's gaping mouth. Bear that in mind for a moment. Over here, number 74. The dungeons are located behind a giant skull with a gaping mouth. The dungeon is located with a giant. It's kind of funny. It's like it appears like there's only two current entrances in the random generator that they have, which is buried 5 foot under the floor or in a gaping mouth. Can we see any others just off of a few that we've got here? Come on, you. No, 5 foot under the floor, 5 foot under the floor, giant. Clearly, at some point in this world's history, there was a species, a polity that was obsessed with giant skulls and burying doors 5 foot beneath the ground. Very silly. I'm presuming this is all swamp as well. Anyway, so we were in this here dungeon. Yeah, this is the one. And we were in 3. Right, this is where we'd got to. And we were looking for some. Oh, right. So this is where the flail snail was. So we have found some decorated armor. All right, let's get the logbook. There we go. Now, I might run through the rest of this dungeon as it is before withdrawing. And I actually think this is what we might... No, because this is from Thelma, so this isn't what we're looking for, right? But I think I might run through this dungeon as it's laid out here, as per normal. And then the next dungeon, use the location crafter. I think that might be my plan, right? So, we locate, and again, just for those who remember that our current barbarian is in a situation where they're enfeebled, so that's going to be inflicted on this new setup. They have mushrooms of invisibility. They're not ill anymore, and they're cursed with their rash, right? So and we killed a flail snail. Oh no, a flail snail. It's gone. It's been dealt with. Flail snail is no more. So yeah, that's kind of that, and I'm trying to use my left arm for using my mouse, which is annoying because I've got really bad RSI in my right arm, so I'm trying not to use it, but it's hard. It's hard. It's difficult. So. We've beat this flail snail, and we're in this massive cavern. So we should probably look at what's in 1 and 4 to see if there's anything that we can immediately see from where we are. Foreshadowing. A successful listener roll could detect the sound of the gorgons are making inside this area. Okay, that's something to bear in mind. What on earth is a gorgon when it's at home? It's one of, again, it's one of those words that sounds like it makes sense and you've heard it before. It kind of gives me the image of like a bull monster. Let's just go to there and type in gorgon. Oh. No, they're Medusas. I was entirely off. The Gorgons, Greek mythology, three monsters, Sphenos, Eurelia. Oh, right, okay. And Medusa. So they weren't a set monster. They were kind of like a collection of different monsters. Okay, well, what does this... whatever it is, it's reasonably unpleasant. Armor class 6, hit dice 6. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Oh, that's a Cassilia, which is kind of a... I think it's funny if it says it's inside. Don't worry. I'm thinking. 2 Gorgons. They're really tough. Right. So, listen checks. We're kind of using a mix of PBTA and old school. Oh, goodness, I forgot to take the tea bag out of my tea. I always forget to take the tea bag out of my tea. What I need is some kind of alarm, much like I need with chat, right? To go, beep, 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 beep. You really need to remember to do these things because you've forgotten. I mean, it doesn't even have to kind of guess as to whether or not I've forgotten. I'll have forgotten. It's like the other day, I was trying to remember to order tea, right? Every day I'd go down, I'd go, ooh, I'm almost out of tea. I need to order some more tea when I go upstairs. I'll remember this because I'm telling myself right now, order tea. Order tea. Order tea, Slime. You need to order the tea. And I get back upstairs and I forget. I did that for about 2 weeks. Then I ran out of tea. Wasn't happy. Right. 1 to 2, we hear something. 4, we don't hear nothing. Okay. So we pad, and we're kind of rash at the moment as well because of this stupid curse. So we're going to go deeper. The question is which way are we going to go? We've got 3 choices really. 1 or 4. We'll head towards 1 on a 1 to 3, and 4 on a 4 to 6. 1 and 3. So we're heading towards 1. Awesome. Now, dense spiderwebs are stretched between cave columns, and the stalagmites are covered with spots of yellow ooze. There's movement inside. Well, movement inside. Resma is going to quietly pace towards the movement, his bronzed body. If I remember, yeah, he's probably got a torch. He's probably using a torch. No, he's got stuff on the back. Yeah, he's got his torch up. He's shimmering in the darkness. And he kind of creeps up on these 2 Gorgons, which in this instance I think are probably... let's just double check. Have we got a picture of what they think a Gorgon looks like? Gorgons, D&D. Yeah, okay, right. So they've kind of got them... Gorgons, monsters. Apparently D&D doesn't know what a Gorgon is. Yes, this is true. So they're like a big bull, a big metal bull in Dungeons and Dragons. Whatever. That can use petrify. So that's cool. whilst he does like to have a good fight with everything, I reckon even in his enrashed state, he won't actively attempt to get to them. So let's do a attempt to bypass them, right? So it's 2d6. I reckon an attempt to bypass them uses mind, which is at -1, and I think he's got another -1 due to the rash curse. So they're going to need a 10 or above to probably not die, I think. 5. So that's a failure. So the consequence of the failure is that they're going to be spotted and chased by the Gorgons, which is going to drive him deeper into the cave network without any kind of rhyme nor reason, right? So they're going to end up somewhere else in the dungeon and lost, right? Because they're not going to fight the Gorgons, because the Gorgons are far more powerful than them. So they're going to run through 5, and as they run through 5, what do they see? So they're running, and they just run through 5. There's just the area is covered with egg-like cave blisters, and the canopy has some burn marks on it. There's a dead body in here, and lying on the floor is dust of a skeleton of a goblin. Well, we're running straight past that into 25. These giant bulls chasing him, but he's a barbarian. He's big and sprightly, and he like leaps across things and bounds and tumbles below things before jutting into a past some apparently some more dead bodies of scorpions into 42, and into 42. Then I reckon through to 57 is probably where he ends up. So for this, basically, he's trying to outrun and hide from them, right? So I think, this is a body check, as sounds like 10, right? So 11. This is he outruns them. He outruns them. That's how you say run. Outrun. He outruns them and hides in this cave. Fossilized mushrooms covering the area. The ground is covered with spots of yellow ooze. There are some big chests near the far wall. Well, he's rash. He opens them. So he needs to make a save versus petrification. I think this is an avoid danger roll, using body, so he's going to try and jump out of the way. 5, he doesn't avoid danger. So the question is, what are we going to do to them? I reckon they're going to be slowed. Right? Sounds good. Sounds like a thing that'll happen. I need some pens. 1 second. 1 second, my dears. Let me get a pen. Here we go. Got some pens coming back. Don't worry, I've not left you. You're fine. You'll be safe, I promise. Here I am. Right. So I reckon they're going to be slowed for, a number of actions. Slowed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turns, right? No fancy picture for that. But as we're here, one of me enfeebled. Oh yeah, we're not invisible anymore. Oh yeah, we can remember the invisibility. That can solve some of our problems. particularly around here. There's a lot of big beasties because, again, so this is the other thing that I would say about this hex crawl generator. Because it doesn't have leveled dungeons, it means that everything is all just thrown into the dungeon haphazardly, which I think is, like not even in a not even just in a gonzo way, in like just a really wild, hey, everything and anything can happen in here. Hold on, I need to get something to 1 second. I'm going to be right back again. And we're back. Back once again, like the Renegade Master. 2-4 damage. D4 damager? 2-4 damager. Power to the people. There we go. Something to bear in mind, we can go invisible again. Now what I think I'm going to do, 57, is... We're kind of lost now, I think. In the dungeon. He was running at a mad pace and tumbling and all the rest of it. So, not too sure as to where they are. So I think now we're going to use the location crafter for all the reasons that I've mentioned. Now, I really would like to remember what on earth I was doing here. This is the... I feel like we had a quest. I feel like we were looking for something for someone. And I feel like we were looking for some armor for someone. But it wasn't the armor that we found. And we didn't make a note of the armor that we found either. Close you. Even though I said, I'll need to make a note of that. So yes, we should. So in room 3... room 3, we found some fancy armor. Question, full stop. You couldn't see any of that. Don't worry. No one needs to see my handwriting anyway. It's terrible. Rawr, look at that angry spider. It's scrawled all across the page. Who keeps attaching pens to the back of angry spiders? So, right, and we open the chest. So there's a 2 in 6 chance that the chest has gold in it. I'm guessing with the 5, that's the wrong end of the 2. And thanks, Zed Serious. Thanks for the follow. We appreciate it. I hope you appreciate everything as well. That sounded kind of ominous and threatening, didn't it? Not supposed to be. Supposed to be positive and reinforcing, right? And I'm hoping you have a great day. Not, hey, if you don't appreciate the fact that we appreciate you, we're going to take you out back and give you a hiding, brother. Not like that. Please, Lord, not like that. So we have to bear in mind that we're slowed until we're not slowed. And we're going to use the random location generator. If you've not seen it, the random location generator is a mythic 1-page module. You get it in one of the mythic magazines. I can't remember which mythic magazine. But you also get the 1-page creature crafter as well, which is pretty cool. And this is like I think this is, this floor is average size. It's not particularly large. It's not particularly small. So the way that this crafter works is you start off with a number. So before I wrote it directly into my book, this time I think I might write the outcomes into Foundry. draw the map as we go, etc., etc., etc. Right? Feels like a better idea. So, with that, what we will do is have the map book out, so we can draw the map as we go. Maps. There we go. And here we go. Right. So we're at 0 PP, which PP stands for progress points, not wee. Location. Cave of burning slaves. Because also I feel this way we can make the dungeon more thematic. I kind of feel that they're all over the place at the moment. Right, location. Cave of the burning slaves. We're covering opening location. Opening location was a small collection of interconnecting caves. That's kind of where we started. We won't draw it on at the moment. We'll add that in when the opportunity arrives. So we're at 0 PP. 0 PP. What do we find at 0 PP? We need a D100. And a D10? Yeah, we need a D10 and a D100. D10, D100. Perfect. So what we do is we roll on the area element table 3 times, adding the progress points to the roll. So, the wall's got too many wires in it, I tell you. Right. Move you over up here. There you go. We can grab it whenever we need it. The snail slayer. We don't need this either. Shoo. We are still cursed, and we're going to be cursed until the hag uncurses us. Oh, that's something that we do need to do. We need to get something that makes the hag happy, or else she won't uncurse us. So that's something that we're looking for, and we're looking for whatever this stuff was that we were looking for. And we're slowed, so that's going to be a thing. So this first room is 4. So that's an object descriptor. So object OD. Then we've got 3, which is a encounter descriptor. Right, cool. So we've got an encounter. And then 1, or less expected. So an E. So EX. So for the expected, and it's good. It's a dark cave. It's a largest dark cave. Right. So that's for the expected descriptor. Right. So it's a large cave. With a couple of exits. Right. So we're going to stick it in the middle. So we've gone from where the small. We're in a small cave with 2 exits. With 1 exit, right? So we're in a small cave with 1 exit, and we've gone through a corridor into slightly larger cave with 2 exits, right? 1, 2. Cool. You can sit on here, so I don't need to keep on holding it. So the next thing was an object descriptor. Okay, so what's the object in this ring? We roll 2, 72. 72. Apprised. Ooh. 75. Prized and purposeful. Well, if it's prized and purposeful, I kind of presume that this is going to be the object that we're actually looking for, right? So, the object is prized and, well, purposeful. Purposeful. Although that's a bit dull. Well, I mean, it is an opportunity to find what it is we're looking for. We're still stuck in this cave network, and we can't get out. So, yeah, we'll make it the armor that we were tasked with finding. It's in a chest, right? Well, no, it's probably it's in a pile of junk. So whatever's taken it has put it into this pile of junk, and we can kind of presume that whatever's taken it is this encounter descriptor, right? So I mean, we might want to use the creature creator for the encounter descriptor. So yeah, okay. I think we'll use this. So when first encountered, generate what the creature looks like. Roll 2 words on the descriptor table for what it looks like. Okay, let's roll 261 is multiple. Okay. 38 is group. Okay, well, let's roll for another one. We've not really got anything descriptor-ish. 52 is loud. Okay. Let's roll another one. 9. Avian. So there's a group of encounter large. So multiple. So the multiple and group kind of feel like they're both. So there's several of them. Multiple. Kind of large. They're like large. Vulture-like creatures with swiveling eyes on stalks. Large vulture-like creatures with swiveling eyes on stalks. Right? Okay, there's a starter. Initial behavior. Well, I think this is kind of like a nest, right? There's like really high up of the ceiling. There's a hole, right? And maybe these guys are kind of nested up there, and they're kind of like carrion eaters slash, they'll eat they'll eat a good horse if it's just laying around, kind of routine. So roll the initial behavior, which is roll 1d10, interpret the results for what the creature is doing. When first encountered. 8. I probably shouldn't use that one, but that's an 8. Working, doing something. So yeah, they're probably like enhancing their nests, right? They're putting stuff into place. They're looking after their chicks. Everything is fine. Roll on a new behavior. Roll on a new behavior anytime you think the creature may change its actions. Well, not yet, because they may not know about it as yet. Then use expectations. Creature's characteristics. Roll on the characteristic statistic table when you need to generate stats for the creatures, such as hit points, blah, 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 blah. Roll a d10. So I kind of expect these are probably like 2 hit dice monsters, comparable, right? Power, whatever we're calling it. So we roll a d10, see where they are. 6. So they are what we expect, right? So they're a collection, probably like a half dozen of these big vulture creatures, swiveling eyes on stalks, kind of weird kind of noises coming out of them. That kind of thing. And they're going about their business. Probably what's happened is they've gone off, they've captured a horse, right? Brought it back here. It had the armor in a saddlebag. The saddlebag's fallen off. They've eaten the horse. They're happy. They're just beasts, right? So what we're going to try and do is stealthily and actually stuff it. What we're going to do is we're going to eat a mushroom. We're going to eat a mushroom. So we are in. This isn't the right pen. Where did my proper pens go? Not that it matters. Oh no, that is the right pen. That's fine. Not that it matters because the other pens that I have are dry wipes. I'm sure I went over this before. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So we're going to try and... So we're going to take the mushroom, which means we are... and we've done a round on our slowed. We've done 2 rounds on our poison. And we should probably keep a dungeon time tracker. So 1. Again, right? I'm sure I had one before. I've just lost it. Okay, cool. Top bananas. So we're going to try and sneak our way along. We're invisible. So I reckon we're rolling advantage. So we pick the 2 highest dice. And it's body. And also -1 for the rashness, right? So +0. And we pick the 2 highest, 5 and 4. So it's a success with a consequence. What do we think the success with the consequence is? So what we were trying to do was sneak across and get the item, right? So we've snuck across because because whenever you get a 9, the options are kind of like sacrifice some equipment, etc., etc., etc. Oh yeah, and how long does the thing last? We only take it if it lands in there. 3 + 6, so 9. We should probably put 9 little markers on our invisibility track. 1. It's just still a little bit damp. What's wrong with you? Stupid pens. Tell you what, these pens aren't very good. For I think it's just a bit moist. No, it's just broken. Stupid pens. I need to get some better pens. What brand are these? Waldecker crap pens. I said it here. Consumer advice. If you work in an office and you need wet white pens, don't get these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool. So success with a consequence. What have we got in our bag? Nothing really makes sense, but we lost it. So I think the only thing that makes a huge amount of sense is what do we think makes sense, people? Any thoughts? No? Maybe? Perhaps? Not sure? Okay. I know what we can do. We can roll for... we can make a roll on the random event table. On a thingamajig. Dice so nice was rolled, but not configured, I know. PC negative. Overindulge power. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. What could that mean? What could that possibly mean? I can only think of one. This is probably supposed to be that way, right? I could probably only think of one thing that it could possibly be, right? It's got to be another curse, right? Cursed power hungry. Power hungry. Sounds about right. Sounds like an option, I suppose. How are they cursed? Why are they cursed? They take the item is cursed. Right? So as long as they've got this thing, they're going to be seeking more power. Which I expect will make them reasonably unwilling to give it up. Poor old barbarian. This barbarian's really getting really getting done over with curses, right? But he manages to sneak through, picks it up, is like, ooh, I feel like I could just keep all this stuff. Well, of course he can't, right? Because it's armor, and he doesn't wear armor. But, you know, he's thinking it. But we're going to carry on moving. No, actually, I said all that, but if we remember, with the invisibility, only he is invisible. His stuff's still moving around and still visible. So that feels a bit forced, and it would be a bit of a nuisance to do. So, in retrospect, the birds come down and steal some of his rope. Because they see it moving around, and they're like, oh, that looks like it'll be really useful in my nest. And we kind of fly down, pull the rope away with his little claws, and they take it off of him. And he's like, ah! Well, he doesn't make any noise. He manages to stay quiet because he gets to a thing. But that's what happens. I should have done that to start with. So, PP goes up by 1. We've got 1 PP. 1 PP. 1 PP. And what we would call cave... cave... What do you call them? Cave vultures. They live in caves. They're vultures. They've got eyes on stalks. So that's cool. Next room. Next way. Which one will we go? We'll go this way, alright? So, we'll go this way. What does this do? Again, turn the page over. We go that way around. And then we do a d10 and we add 1 to this roll. So we get a roll 3 thingy-majiggies. So 1, 2. Location descriptor. LD. And then we do 7. So that's 8. ED. So another encounter. And then 3. Which is 4. Which is object descriptor. Okay. So LD is the first location for location descriptor. What have we got going on? 76. Quiet. 8. Bleak. Quiet and bleak. Okay. Quiet, bleak. Feels like the cave has opened up into what looks like a kind of a collapsed settlement. So like a small hamlet has been consumed by the underground, and is kind of here in disrepair, right? So we kind of open up into like this old kind of, you know, there's like a ruined temple, right? And there's like ruins of houses, and you see like kind of ruined fences and stuff. Look at all these wonderful pictures. Lots of kind of like, there's like the crematorium, the kind of ruins of a crematorium, crematorium, temple, houses. Yeah, some of those are once someone's ale house, probably once a farm, all that kind of thing, and it almost feels like you know, there's a malaise, not a malaise. There's a It is malaise. Is malaise the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like a greenish fog all over it, right? So put it into my notes, a ruined surface settlement with all the trappings. Temple to whatever the local deity was, crematorium, houses, etc. And a green malaise. Now, we've got an encounter in here as well, so I'll roll the encounter descriptor last. Object descriptor. We've got 30, domestic, 80, resources. So there's like a large collection of lumber and worked stones. And worked stones piled up as if there was once going to be a construction project. Right, so now I'm going to roll for the descriptor for the encounter first of all on here. 100, welcoming, okay. 20. Which the 20 doesn't make any sense. It was container for those who want to know. A welcoming container. Well, maybe. It's probably ways off here. Here. It's kind of huge. Here. And yeah, here. We've got all the ways out. So there's an encounter, which is welcoming, and apparently a container. So what I think it's going to be are the spirits of the people that used to live here, right? The spirits, the bound spirits of those who once lived in this settlement, eager to receive guests. So, Resma is probably kind of superstitious, right? But Resma is also rash at the moment. So, Resma is also invisible. So, question, right? Can the spirits detect? Can the spirits detect Resma? Question mark. And I kind of think it's likely, because it's probably quite likely that they can sense. But they can sense for life force, as opposed to just seeing it. So let's bear in mind we've moved a box, and we also had this open on the last box, and the black is no use to me. One less on the poison, one less on the slowed. Cool. This is good. Let's roll. So the beast, they start coming up to Resma as Resma starts to kind of go through their kind of greenish, ghostly visage. Probably somewhat monstrous. Probably not. They mostly look like people. They just look like people who probably could do with some sun, and not being green. And they go, a visitor. And Resma is like, what? A visitor. You have visited our town of Beetlebrook. It has been so long since we have last had human visitors. Normally, it is some kind of strange and twisted monstrosity. Ah, right. What are you doing here? Ah, we were bound here long ago when our settlement sunk. Why did your settlement sink? Asks Resma. Oh, there was a mighty ground shake, and the settlement was swallowed whole, and we've been here ever since. You do understand? You do know you're dead, right? Goes Resma. Oh, we are sadly aware of our incorporeal state. Yes, right, cool. Yeah, I don't know what to do. It's great meeting you, though. Oh, no, please, come, stay, have a feast. And suddenly there's a delicious feast appears in front of him. He's like, I don't think I need a feast. And so Resma's going to try and figure out what's going on here, right? -1 for his -1 mind. No idea what's going on here. No idea. And he thinks, you know what, I would quite like a little feast, right? So what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up draining some of his life energy, right? They're going to drain some of his life force. And he's going to be like, whoa, what's going on here? And he's gonna start fleeing the location. Again, lots of running around for old Resma. But I think there's a chance that they're going to run into something interesting. But let's roll for their attempt to flee. It's a body roll. They are slowed, so I reckon that's going to be a problem. So they're going to be at -1 for the slowed. And with that, or in fact, we should probably roll disadvantage, right? So we take the 2 lowest, so they get a 3. That's what we should do as opposed to doing that. So they don't get away. But what happens is that they stumble in their slowed state and fall into they're chased into the temple, right? And then in the ruins of the temple, but just looking grand and still in all one piece, almost as if it had never been touched. There's a glowing thing. Right, it's going bright green aura radiating off of his thing, and it turns to it starts to shine on Resma, and Resma is like, well, this doesn't look like a great situation, does it? And I know, cat player of Resma, this doesn't look like a great situation. It looks like you're in front of a large, glowing, necromantic, magical item, doesn't it? Like, yes, that does look exactly what it's like. I'm going to try and... if it's a barbarian, I'm going to try and shatter it in one fell swoop with my giant sword. Cool. Remember, though, you're slowed, so you're at disadvantage. And you're like, oh, yeah. There is an option here, right? Oh, God, remember to roll that bad. We're going to have to use it. So, Resma is going to use one of their precious luck points. Now we're going to take the damage, so that in agony. He goes, and they're like, ah, for pain. And they get the massive battle axe and they just swoosh, swing it down, smash into this giant green magical crystal thing, and it starts to shatter. And they're like, clink, clink, it's like, ah, and it's going, and it's firing its beam at him, and you can kind of partly see his skeleton beneath his skin. And suddenly it kind of explodes, right? And shatters into an infinite number of shards, scatters across the floor. And suddenly the temple starts to look like the decayed ruin that it is, right? And he looks around, and this green miasma is gone, and the spirits are all gone. And he kind of sits down, and he's tired. As you can imagine, he's in agony. He's feeling drained, and he's gonna have a little rest. I think that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna sit in the ruins of this town. He's gonna start a little fire with the logs and some of his camp supplies. He's going to eat some jerky, and he's going to contemplate what just happened to him. And that, I'm going to say, is going to restore his... it's going to restore his... you're going to remove the terrified and agony from his character, right? Because he's no longer terrified, and he's no longer in great pain. And it's going to use up a dungeon resource. So we get rid of you too. And we've lost the luck point. So remember, we can't get luck points back, right? They're a finite resource. One of the main things that indicate when we're probably gonna want to retire. So it's consumed a ration, and it's consumed an adventuring gear. And I reckon we're going to consume some herbs as well to make that kind of fair. And I think if we're going to consume herbs as well, we'll get rid of a bruised state too. Right. Now, I think by the time he's finished kind of sitting around and contemplating the mistakes in his life, kind of here for like an hour. So that's 6 turns, right? So the slowed will be gone. No longer slowed. Take that off of the poor boy. He's no longer enfeebled. And he's no longer invisible. But he is healthier. So let's just note that he has a... after destroying the necromantic magical device, Rezima takes some time to contemplate all this madness, and decides that he's the one who's gonna bring. He's decides that he's just a small cog, he's just a small speck of dust in a great and complex cosmos. So he just needs to make the readies. Right? So he has his little camp. Little Bernie camp, and moves on after his wee meal and his relaxation, and off we go. Let's see, what do we find in the next room? We're at +2 PP. 2 PP. He's got plenty of stuff to do a building project if he ever feels like doing a building project. Alright, we just roll a D10 first, right? So 8 + 2 is 10, so negative descriptor, ND. Okay, So that could be a trap or something. We'll see. 4 plus 2 is 6. So that's expected return. Return. This area goes back to somewhere else. Okay, we're in expected return. And then 3, which is 5. So a positive descriptor. Okay. The negative descriptor is going to be 40 and 34. 40 is fragrant. ND is fragrant. And 34. 34 is equipment. Okay, right. I think maybe equipment. Positive descriptor is 66. 66. Open 83. Open small opening. Okay. Why is it positive? So that's open small, open key. That's probably what it is, right? So there's a key. Fragrant equipment. So I reckon this fragrant equipment is what there is a there's a sweet smelling poison gas in the air that requires sacrificing a equipment slot, or succeeding a roll to navigate. Right, so the room's got kind of like some poison in it. PD, there's a key. There's a magical glowing key. So that sounds like a thing. Key object, and then expected return. I think that means that there's a. So this is Bocan, just a weird small alcovey room, and it reconnects to that, right? A 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the keys on like a wee stone surface. There's a word for it. I can't remember what the word is. So we're going to roll 4. Yeah, we're going to see if he's going to try and hold his breath and navigate over. So I reckon this is a body roll. It fails, which means he's going to have to use the equipment, and something else happens. He's going to have to use the equipment. So adventuring gear. Oh, he's running low on adventuring gear. But we gain a magic key. Magic key. Maybe we have to need to use it at some point. Magic key. Because right now we're just trying to look for the exit to get out of here. So let's. All right, and that's the other problem. So I would get to do a move, right, as a referee, as a GM storyteller. I don't know what we are today. Dungeon World, the DM moves, GM moves. Yeah. What's for standard moves in Dungeon World? Use a monster location or a danger move. Doesn't feel. Reveal an unwelcome truth. Shows signs of an approaching threat. Oh, that sounds like fun. Show signs of an approaching threat. So on the wall, right, so along this wall is a mural of a huge dragon consuming the world, right? So massive dragon, massive black dragon, right? So let's just note that down. Sign of impending doom. There is a mural of a huge black dragon consuming the cosmos. Right, cool. That sounds exciting. It's also because there's another. I'm using the same setting with another party going around, and they've met a black dragon who's like, "Go get me this black dragon item, so I can wake up my mate, this other black dragon." It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a thing. It's all gonna be great fun. So grim portent of trouble to come. I also kind of think that really that's supposed to be, in retrospect, an approaching sign of an approaching threat immediately. So like, oh, you hear dong 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 in the distance, but whatever. Right. So we go back around here and we get back into this room. We need this dungeon tracker. All right. So we start with dungeon tracker again because of course we had a long old rest, a good sit down and a nap and all sorts. But we come back around to here. So 1, 2, and we want to leave. So we'll go back up. We'll go out this way. See what's up there. So we're now at PP plus 3. 3 PPs. Oh, 3 PPs? I know, it's terrible. It's a disgusting channel. What do you have? 1, so that's a 4. 4s are object descriptors. OD, so there's something in here. 2, so that's a 5. A PD, a positive descriptor. And 7 plus 3. Wait a minute. Yeah, wait. PD. Yeah, I think I did that right. 7 plus 3 is 10, so that's a negative descriptor. So this is pretty much very similar to the last stream, I suppose. Right, let's start off with the object descriptor. Let's do it the way we rolled it. 47 is impressive. 82. Impressive, simple. Impressive and simple. So OD is impressive and simple. What do we think is impressive and simple? Well, for someone like Resma the Barbarian, impressive and simple would be like a really good sword, right? Although swords are pretty complex. A really good hammer, right? Big old fancy hammer. So that's what it is. It's a big old fancy hammer. Big old fancy hammer. So I don't know if you've seen the old. I don't know if they still do them, but like a. Where's the other book? Yeah. In a Warhammer back in the day, you'd have like these hammers, which are like big old hammer, right? I can't draw. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. Right? So something fancy on the end of like a, I don't know, fucking skull, right? So you have a fucking skull on the end. It's kind of like a cap on it, and you'd be like this fucking massive thing, massive stone off of it, and it'd be like, it's lovely, like look at it, isn't it beautiful? And there'd be like a scene from something going on, maybe like a black dragon over here having a scrap, and then like a hero fighting out on that side of it, right? So there's a massive hammer like that. big old fancy hammer. So that's what's in there, right? Big old fancy hammer. Big old fancy hammer. Something I do want to remember to add in at some point is like some sci-fi gonzo fantasy stuff, because I think that's funny. Because after Unfathomable Deep, I just really enjoyed it. I like the idea of having like a flying saucer which has come through a temporal rift in the middle of this kind of fantasy setting, right? So next is the positive descriptor, 62, which is occupied, 38, fortune. Occupied and fortune. I'm not sure what that is, but let's occupied and fortune. And then the negative descriptor, because I think we kind of need to consider the positive descriptor and the negative descriptors together. 96 warm, 57. Hard to imagine warm being bad. 57 multiple warm. I'm re-rolling that. 41 frightening. Okay, that's better. 78 ready. Frightening and ready. Frightening and ready. Occupied and fortune. Occupied and fortune. I mean, you'd imagine that means something lives in here. But it's kind of funny that you'd have something living in here if it was frightening and ready, right? But maybe you do, right? So in here, there's like a round creature. Yeah, it's like two balls stuck together. With some little tendrily arms and wee swirling lizard-like eyes. And it seizes. And it kind of looks like it's made out of stone. Right? And it seizes. And in this room, it is like there are these other statues that look like they're kind of stood at guard. And they're kind of all like hideous creatures, right? So these statues, these hideous beasties are stood at guard. So the guard, they're like so as opposed to legs, they've kind of got three tentacles that have jagged edges on them, and they're holding these long. Some of them have like long weapons. Some of them have like arms that are weapons. And by and large, they're all looking pretty unpleasant and menacing. And this wee creature is like, welcome to Gozo's Emporium of Many Things. Right? This should be a Gozo's Emporium of Many Things. And Resma looks at them and goes, "What do you mean, an emporium? I sell things. I sell wonderful and exciting things down here. It's a truly magnificent and thriving business." "Oh, really?" Resma looks back and forth and is like, "I can't really see anything that looks like it's going to be much of an exciting business. Yes, always travel through these parts. Not very many looking like you, though. What kind of strange creature are you?" And he's like, "I'm a human." "A human? Oh, wonderful. What do they do? What do you eat?" Normal things. Or what's... normal things to one individual are very odd things to another. I've discovered this in my many, many decades of providing services across the underworld. Normally red-blooded animals, and yes. and delicious vegetables, often in stew and with beer. I think I know what you're talking about. Anyway, do you have anything to trade? And he kind of looks around his person. And I see that you have all kinds of exciting looking things, my friend. Yes, yes. Oh, look, you've got some Eltronian mushrooms. How delicious! Um, those are worth a pretty penny. Eltronian mushrooms. What's the story with these giant things? He goes. Oh, those. Oh, they're relics of a bygone era, my friend. He goes, what's the story of that hammer? Oh, it's an old relic of times gone by again. It's a very, very impractical weapon. And he's like, oh well, I quite like the look of it. Do you now? Well, that's interesting. I'm sure nothing terrible would happen if you went and picked it up, my young friend. Right. So, what we're going to do here is you're going to do a quick trade. So a trade is going to be a self roll. All right. 9. It's not too bad. So that's a success with a cost. And the cost is going to be, we're going to sell 2 of these mushrooms. 2 of these here mushrooms. 1, 2. So we get rid of 2 of those mushrooms. And we receive... we refresh our adventuring gear, right? So we've got 5 adventuring gear again, which is good because we were about to run out of adventuring gear, which would have been bad. Because adventuring gear is kind of your get out of jail free card a lot of the time. Oh, we've still got 21 coins. That's good. He's rash. He's going to try and take the he's going to take the hammer, and so we're going to take the hammer. I think this is going to be an avoid danger roll with no modifier. Right. The statues come to life because, of course, they come to life. And he turns to his giant new hammer, and he's like, "Huh! I didn't see that coming." And the Gozo chuckles to himself and disappears around a corner. There's like a half dozen of these, so you can't really fight them in any practical sense. But he's gonna get involved in this fight, right? So he's got +1 because he's strong. Does an extra level of harm, and it's not really relevant. So we're going to have this fight. The fight goes amazingly for him with a 10 plus his 1, 11. Amazing, right? So they come leaping towards him, and he just smashes the first one with his hammer, and the thing just shatters. Clearly, the hammer is made out of far sterner stone than these statues. And he goes, "Hurrah! Come at me, you foolish lumps of walking rock." And the other one comes up, he goes, swoosh, smash, smashes it, and it kind of explodes into a shower of bits of pebbles. I will never have to fear Bibu again. And he goes, smashes another one, and it just explodes into a shower of debris. No mere rock could face me. Smash. The other one, whilst looking very terrifying, they're now looking far less terrifying as a collection of rocks across the ground. But the dark overseer of cringe, Bibu, will gain revenge for this. Dark overseer of cringe, Bibu. Let's make a note of the dark overseer of cringe, Bibu. I was watching. Who did I watch? I didn't see them directly. I was watching the 8-bit drummer guy the other day, and he did drums along to the Bibu trigger thing, and I was like, that's quite funny. Pull my Bibu trigger. No, I don't really follow BB very much, but I think she's funny when I do see her clips. More of a clip viewer. Much more of a clip viewer. Right, so that's that room. Oh, we should probably draw it on, right? So we had this room. It's kind of like a room. Let's say it's got 2 doors. Probably like a more thingy door coming off of it, and here, and there was like a pedestal. That was it, a stone pedestal. That was the word I was thinking about. It's got this stone pedestal, and it used to have these. Yeah, it did have like these dudes, but he smashed them. They're gone. They're no more. So we're going to go to the next area. So we're at 4 PP. Right, let's roll. What do we find? What do we find? Wrong dice. That's one. So +4. That's an 8. So encounter descriptor. So there's something in here. ED. We get an 8. +4. So that's a 12. An LD. And we get another LD. Well, that sounds boring. I don't want another LD. 6, 10. Negative descriptor. Okay. So let's start off with the LD, then the ND, then the ED, right? So LD, location descriptor, 92. Unpleasant, right? 62. Unpleasant and occupied. Okay. Well, we know it's occupied. And occupied. Let's roll for the negative descriptor. 67. Ornate, 42. Ornate, full. Reroll. 21. Cramped. 60. Natural. Okay. So what this is, because it's negative to a player, so the area is very narrow. Right. Or the roof. So it's kind of a natural cavern again. But the roof is really low, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Really low roof. Right, so it's hard for us to maneuver, right? So it's really a low roof. So the negative descriptor. What did we roll? We rolled cramped and I can't remember what the other one was. Cramped, natural. That was it. So really low roof and rough terrain, making movement very difficult. Right, unpleasant and occupied. Okay, I'm kind of getting a feeling as to what this might be. Description table for what we find: 64, 90, threatening, 58, mundane. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's roll a descriptor. So it's unpleasant and occupied. Basically, it's like a warren for some monster. Sponta stinks of monster excrement and rotting things. Right. There's probably flies and all sorts down here. So let's roll for. A description for these beasties. 30. Fangs. 84. Strange. Okay, so these are like weird, like larvae, right? So they're like pupae. They look like maggots, right, with blisters and boils all across them, quite deeply unpleasant creatures. And they got sharp, wee sharp teeth. Ngang, 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 ngang. And they're probably the larval stage of some more hideous creature. Now, I reckon they're individually pretty weak. So probably like half a hit dice monster comparable to... Oh, I mean, lower than we expected. So, they're just like a big old horde, and they're heading in his direction. And of course, he's limited as to what he can do. So, I reckon I can smell him. So he's he's a stinky guy. And he's been down here fighting and going through all the kinds of stuff that you go through whilst you're in a dungeon. So I reckon what he's going to be trying to do is just get out as quickly as possible and kind of fending them off as they get closer to him. So I think it's kind of more of a struggling to get through the room rather than trying to kill these things, because he can't really stand up properly. He's kind of hunched over, right? I don't need those dice. What I need is these. So I reckon it's -1 to the roll. 5. So I reckon he gets I reckon two things have kind of happened. I reckon he's actually terrified. And I reckon, for the time being, I reckon he's scared of very enclosed spaces. Right. I think that's probably a valid route after he... Oh no, I can think of something even worse. I'm sorry. Let me just get this. Just wipe that one clean for a moment. I reckon explode from host in 1 + 1d4 days. I reckon eggs would explode from the host in 1 to 4 days. So actually, I'm going to change that to... No, it's fine. No, I will change it. Change this from terrified to just bruised, right? Because they've gnawed into his flesh and injected him with stuff, but he doesn't know because it's just a barbarian. And how many is for 4 days? 2. So 3 days. 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Dungeon Master, there's a
There was a delicious coffee delivered by my glorious housemate. What on earth was I doing? New room? New room. Going this way. What do we find? 5 PPs. 5 PPs. 9 plus 5, 14. So 14 is an object descriptor. Okay, OD. And then what have we got next? 60. Just the 8. Thank you. So 8 plus 5 is 13. A location descriptor, LD. And then 6 plus 5, 11. Expected. Okay. Well, what's the OD, and then what's the LD, and then we'll do the expected. The OD, 62. 62? Oh, no, that doesn't make any sense for an object. 80. 80. Resource. 56. 56. Moving. A moving resource. Okay, well, that sounds interesting. Moving resource for the OD. And then the LD is 58. Mundane, 88. 88. Suspicious. Okay, so the room is mundane and suspicious, right? So the room is suspicious in how remarkably normal it is, right? So we kind of imagine that we go in, right, and it looks like an inn, right? There's like a bar, right? There's like seats dotted about, well, benches, right? There's benches, right? And there's a couple of doors out. That's a bit weird, he thinks. LD is mundane and suspicious. Right, there are people sat around in the benches and there's music playing and it's all very nice. Now, my expectation, given the fact that, well, and the moving resource. What on earth is a moving? Resource that allows movement, a potion of speed. That's what it is. A potion of speed. Right. So there's a potion of potion of speed. Probably a mushroom of speed, given how many mushrooms there have been in this place so far. Mushrooms of speed. 1d6 plus 1 worth. So there's 1d6 plus 1 mushrooms of speed on the 2, 3. So there's 3 mushrooms of speed. Okay, cool. Well, my expectation is that this is some kind of illusion created by some kind of illusionary creating monsters that like to lure people into a false sense of security and then eat their brains. That's kind of what I think this probably is. Now, Resma, mind -1. Let's see if Resma thinks. Resma is going to be doing a what's going on here roll. Wow! That's a 9. That's an amazing roll. So Resma kind of sits at the bar, starts talking to the barkeeper, and realizes that the barkeeper keeps repeating the same lines, almost as if he's talking to some kind of NPC, right? And he's reached the end of his dialogue tree. And with that, he leaps up, smashes it with his hammer, and reveals the illusion is broken, and it reveals this kind of sinewy, thin creature with like where its mouth is kind of like on a stalk, and it's got like a sharp, pointy suckers, and this wee thing. And it's kind of grey, like most of the things are down here underground. It's kind of grey, with moth-like wings, right? And I don't think. I think Resma is pleased with this situation, so I reckon Resma is gonna hit it with his brand new hammer. 10. Resma smashes it with his brand new hammer, crushing the creature in one fell swoop of his huge hammer, and kind of purple ooze kind of explodes out of it as it gets flattened into the ground. And Resma is pleased with his rapid vanquishing of this creature. Looks around. And there's kind of like there's the remains of all kinds of beasties around here that have been lured in by this creature, and pleased with their work, Resma continues about their business. They take the magical mushrooms. So we have the free speed mushrooms. Speed mushrooms. Speed shrooms. Speed shrooms. Speed shrooms. Mentioning shrooms, EG and Yam are doing a thing today, aren't they? They're doing a review of Miku submissions, and that's cool because I think Yam's not Yam. I mean, Yam's model's amazing, right? As a 2D model, but I think the hair on EG's model, the kind of toadstool top of her head, is just mesmerizingly cool. Very into it. I think Yam's model's amazing as well. I mean, definitely, if I could get like Yam to, or someone of Yam or EG's quality to make a new slime model for me, I'm thinking like a black pudding or an ooze, right, as a kind of a more monstrous visage, right? I think that'd be good fun. It's just coming up with, I don't know, I need to work with a character designer to come up with like a really good way of kind of putting personality into the model, right? Because I don't know how it would all work, right? Because it would need a lot of toggles, I expect, and stuff. But that'd be cool. I'd love to kind of pour some money into it because I'm getting into it. I'm kind of enjoying it. I reckon I should probably see for another kind of month if I can keep putting the energy in when I've got work that's actually work. Because I finally got a new client at work, which will be like actual work as opposed to what I've been for the past month or so, which is on the bench. Anyway, you don't need to know any of this. You're not interested. But yeah, they're doing a Snow Miku thing. Check it out. I'm sure it'll be really good because everything they do is really good. And if you've not seen it, either Yam's or Iji's videos, go out and watch them. They're amazing. So Yam does lots of really good stuff on character concepts. And she's the reason that I ended up streaming just to start off with, because she was like, just shut up and do it. Right? Kind of thing, right? And EG, again, really great stuff on character design. So, yeah, well worth watching. Next room. Now this weird moth monster is smeared all over the floor. Let's see what we see. This is very much an example of how much I hate combat. Right? If I can wrap it up in one roll, I'm down with it. Right? And I think a 10 plus is a great way to just go, no, that's a success. We're done here. The giant barbarian smashes them into pieces. Congratulations. Next room. And the expectation was a hallucination monster. So next room, 5 PPs. No, 6 PPs. We're on to 6 progress points. Right. What's in this room? So plus 6. 16. Expected. Okay. E. Expected. 3 plus 6 is 9. OD, object descriptor. And then 4 plus 6 is 10, which is a negative descriptor, right? ND. So, as always, we'll start with the object, then do the negative. I said, as always. I mean, I don't know. I'll do it in some random order for you. Whichever order occurs to me when I roll it. Sugar. Fiddlesticks, come back. Right. Object descriptor. 98, right? 98. 98 watery, interesting. 59 watery, mysterious water. Okay. All right, cool. Right, so it's a fountain. Right. Mysterious fountain. OD. Mysterious fountain. Okay, cool. ND, negative descriptor. 68 peaceful. Okay, interesting. 74. Protection, protection, peaceful, peaceful, protection, protection, peaceful. Negative descriptor. Negative descriptor. Protective and peaceful. What could that possibly be? Protective, protective and peaceful. I'm going to roll a couple of. I'm going to ask a couple of questions of the. Is there a monster being protected? Fake question. Is there a monster being protected? Just a 50-50 roll. 46. Yes. Okay. So there's a monster here, and it's being protected. So you have to be peaceful because you can't do anything to it. Okay, so there's a monster in here, right? It's being protected. There's a weird fountain. So, weird fountain. And monster and kind of an aura of protection. What kind of monster is it? That's what we need to figure out. Descriptors 46. Laden 98. Wings. Another one. 58. Mighty. 17. Composite. You always wonder where all these dragons come from in dungeons. I often wonder that. How do they all get in there? How do these flying beasties get into dungeons? Lots of holes in the roofs. So it's got wings. It's mighty. Laden. And then I got laden and then composite. What's composite? You know when you know what a word is, but you're like, does this word have more meanings than just the one that I think of? Composite, made up of several parts or elements. Oh, I know what it could be. One of those things, a chimera, right? Chimera. So it's got the tail of a scorpion, wings of a griffin, a head of a lion, body of a chicken. Right? It's massive, huge, intelligent as well. Roll a d10 to 10 because I reckon this is powerful. 4. Yeah, so it's as powerful as I expect. So yeah, it's powerful, right? Powerful. And the expected. What's expected? Yeah, unexpected, right? It's just a room, right? So it's a large room. There's a kind of tunnel. There's a hole in the ceiling, a hole in the roof that the monstery beastie chimera thing can crawl through. Is the aura of protection on the monster or the area? On the beast or on the area. That's the. I didn't want to roll a synergist. I wanted to roll. Is the aura on the beast or the room? Is Viora on the beast? Exceptional? No, it's on the room. And it's a machine. There's a mechanism in the room, right? So there's a kind of... there's a magic pattern all around here, and it's glowing, right? So it's a glowing magical pattern on the floor. So the peaceful protection, glowing magical circle. There's there's an exit on the ceiling for the beastie to leave as it likes, right? Cool, right. So that's kind of what we got going on here. Also, in the expected, I reckon there's going to be a treasure hoard as well, right? So there's a treasure hoard. Treasure hoard. Problem for Mr. Barbarian is he's not very clever. So the question is, can the barbarian does the barbarian, like, do I know a way of disabling this magic circle? 7. So that's a yes. So he does know of a way. It's just not a great way. We'll call brute force. He can brute force his way through, which would cause him injury. So really, I think if we wanted to do that, it would cost him a luck point, right? To use his brute force to break through, right? Could break through the protection using brute force, would cost a luck point. And I think he's just going to drink from the magic fountain, right? So we're going to drink from a magic fountain. Magic fountain. Drink from a magic fountain. Is the effect from a magic fountain is the effect, it doesn't matter, right? Because we're 50-50 roll. Is the effect from the fountain beneficial? Question mark. Right. Control Z. Control copy. To chat. Let's see what we get. I'll let you know. You don't need to see. It's fine. I don't lie to you, chat. I'm an honest slime. Is it beneficial? No. Okay, so it's negative. Effect. Let's roll for a effect. Do I have I'm gonna have to make my own tables at some point because I don't. Curses. There we go. We can roll on that. 45. Gratify. Health. No, that's second one's rubbish. Miserable. Okay. 85. Possessions. It's not really a curse, am I? I should be rolling curses. I should be rolling on locations, characters. It's kind of funny there isn't an affliction option on here. Let's ask Google. Random affliction table. Roll. No. Why, computer? I don't like. Nowadays, so I used to be, I've played for a long time, the whole Madness Insanity tables were like, it's cool, right, whatever, they're just doing. Nowadays, of course, I don't like using those kinds of things as a mechanism, right? Stress tables, affliction tables. I know you just play it moving around words, but yeah. I think there we go. Cool. Right. That looks like a good table. Thank you. Good table. That's not the page I was just looking at. That's random physical features. I don't want random physical features. I wasn't clicking on random physical features. I was clicking on this one. Okay, well, let's just roll directly on here. Oh, that's not where my dice is. D100, right. So, do we think it's a... it's probably a physical affliction. 92. Maligned bone. Maligned bone. Is that like a wobbly skeleton? 80. Okay, that's an option, I suppose. Oh, sorry, I just hit the microphone with my headset. I bet that was exciting. Exciting. I reckon I'm gonna pop onto thingy to no, which is I think this is on until they find a solution, or they just get used to it. Right. So they're deaf. They drink from the fountain, can't hear anymore. That's going to be interesting. Okay, so I can't hear anymore. And this beastie looks at them, just watches them, because whilst it's in its magic thing, it can't be harmed, and it's not really worrying very much, I don't think. We should probably roll a dice to see initial behaviour. Right, what's it doing? 4. Wary and alert. Right. I think it just watches. Yeah, it just watches. The person makes themselves deaf and thinks that's a thing for you. So this kind of feels like something that we could come back to later and try and deal with it, right? But until then, we're going to go this way and go into room number 7 PP. This room. What do we get? 2 + 7, 9. It's learning how to count a dungeon slime. Object descriptor. OD. And then, I don't like the same thing twice. 3. Fuck. 10, negative descriptor. 9 + 6. 9 + 7 is 16, so that's expected. We should keep just missing that exit, eh? Right, cool. So cool. What's the object description? 54. Mechanical. 68. Peaceful. Stupid. 95. Variable. A variable machine. Okay. Valuable machine. There is a box-like thing with tubes, and little screens all over it, and buttons and stuff. It looks like it could be worth something to someone. ... So that's for the thing. There's a machine. And ND 83. 83 is small. 85 is storage. How's that negative? Try again. 17. Communication 4. Atmosphere. Right, well, if he could hear, which he can't, and negative description, there is, I know, a constant whispering of emergency, informing the characters that they should flee, and never look back. Full stop. However, he's deaf, so he can't hear it. Oh dear. So it's a negative descriptor because it would be, useful if anyone could hear. And then expected, well, because there's that, let's put, there's a, it's kind of like a circle in the middle of a room, right, with mysterious scribbles all over it, right? And because, he's barbarian, he's not paying any attention, he's going over, the box is, the machine is in the middle of it, right? The voice is like, don't go inside the circle, it'll be bad. But he does, because, can't hear. And there's a thing in there that looks like it's worth some coin, right? He goes in, grabs the thing. As he does, the circle lights up, and I reckon he's teleported into a room. Like a big stage and a beastie on the stage looking at them, and and I reckon that's what we're seeing here. And we've got a donk. Okay, what's going to happen? So he's teleported. Big old beastie comes in. Big old beastie. B-O-B. Big old beastie comes in, right? What's a big old beastie look like? 3 animal, okay. 1 amorphous, right? Giant blob creature, like a giant black pudding or something. It's consumed. It can create tendrils and has horrifying powers, right? So I reckon it's powerful. We're gonna roll. It's a little bit less powerful than expected. Okay. But I also reckon that a giant hammer can't hurt it. Right, so I reckon he's rolling at disadvantage whilst if he tries to use the hammer, which of course he does. So he puts down his winnings, this thing, and this booming voice goes, "You have taken from me things that do not belong to you." This dude, he's like a weird looking skeleton dude with a crown and stuff, right? You will have to fight my horde of beasts. And out comes this big old slime. This big old black pudding creature, monster, amorphous, tentacly beastie. This shoggoth, whatever it is, it's not good. And he goes, swish, I'll take your beastie on. Well, he says that, and of course, Resma can't hear a word he's saying. So he puts down the thing that he's holding, but he presumes he's going to have a bit of a Barney, puts down a thing, gets out his massive hammer. Monster comes in, rushes over, smashes the monster with his massive hammer. We're on a disadvantage of 3, 4, plus 5. So that he manages to damage it. So he smashes it, right? And it goes blur, and bits of goo go everywhere. Bits of it land on him and burn like his shoulders and stuff. I reckon it's melted some of his adventuring gear. Is what's happened, right? So it's melted some of his adventuring gear. But also, I reckon it's going to get to use one of its powers. So let's see what powers it's got. 88. Strength. That's not a very interesting power. 52. That's not a very interesting power. 21. 99. Boring list of powers. 13. Cloud. 50. Cloud. Levitating. 30. Fangs. Okay, so you smash it, and it sprays black goo all over stuff. It destroys one of Resma's ropes that he bought off of the wee beastie, and then Resma is surprised. So if it's got harm, if we imagine it's got harm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, and his attack would have reduced it by 2. It has gone whoosh and released this cloud of energy, and the cloud is full of biting kind of like magical teeth, and Resma is now floating in this cloud of biting magical teeth, and Resma is going to be like, this ain't great. And so, what have we got going on? Resma isn't built to handle this kind of a fight. In Resma's adventuring gear, he's got some burning. He's got some oil, right? So he's going to use the oil. Well, first of all, he's got to get disengaged from this thing, right? So he's going to do the one thing. He's going to use a rope, throw the rope, and swing it, lasso it around a chandelier on the ceiling with his grapple. So he's got grapple. So he's going to grapple the thingy, and he's going to pull himself out of this weird field of bitey badness, right? So I reckon this is a body roll. 8, right, cool. So we manage it. We lose the rope as we go, right? So we've lost the rope. Leap out, swing along, land on the other side. So we've kind of landed athletically on like a raised. We've landed up here, right? So we've landed on the big dude's fucking like raised platform, right? We imagine also like all around there's skeletons kind of sat in like gladiatorial arena seats going fight, which none of which Resma can hear. Resma is going to take his flasks of oil, and throw them down at the beastie, and yeah, that's what he's going to do. And with a 4, he doesn't. With a 4, the thing fires like shockingly agile. It fires up a cloud. What does it do? See if we get something interesting. 74. That's not interesting. Well, maybe. 17. Fine. The beastie fires up this cloud that basically means that Resma couldn't see it when he flung in his oil. So there's something we should remember is that there is oil somewhere. Right? That kind of thing. And something else should really happen, I kind of feel. Oh, sugar. We've been forgetting to fill in his XP track with his failed rolls. I reckon he's failed a couple, right? He's failed at least 2 rolls outright. Possibly 3. I think probably he's had 3 outright failed rolls. So what we're gonna do? Oh, and he's athletic. Yeah. Okay. So he can't see the beastie at all. It's kind of fired out this black cloud, which is annoying as the creature is also black. So there's a whole lot of darkness going on down there, and the necromancer lich dude pushes him off the edge, so he falls into this dark cloud, and so he can't actually see anything. Now, what we're going to have to try and do is what kind of dumb things would players do when they're trapped in this kind of situation? Can he spin his giant hammer around? And there's still this rope in the middle of a room, right? So he's going to be like, can I just like leap up, grab hold of a rope, and then kind of like Tarzan around this arena from kind of rocky surface to rocky surface? That's what he's going to try and do. He doesn't do that. Mark an XP point. He falls off. And the creature leaps on him and melts another set of his. I don't think that might be gone. So he melts another set of his adventuring gear. So Resma is running low on adventuring gear. Yeah, is bits of like leather and wood all melted and falling off of him, and he's puffing and puffing, and he's like, "Damn you! I will crush you!" You know, but of course he can't see nothing, and he can't hear nothing. He is in a real bad way. So I reckon. He can't run away. He's in an arena. We're 9. I don't know what we're trying to do. He's just going to try and spin around and violently attack into the cloud and fail miserably. Right, the cloud dissipates and the slime appears and engulfs Resma inside of its deadly gooey body, which I feel will cause it'll cause a level of damage. It'll do the agony thing, right? So I reckon it probably does 2 harm normally, right? So now it's going to do 1 harm. And he's stuck inside it. Well, he's going to try and get out, right? Because fortunately, this is something that he's kind of good at. He doesn't get out. He's now terrified. And he's stuck inside this creature, right? I reckon he's going to have to expend another luck point. No, we don't want to burn another luck point. Let's keep the luck. We could always cheat death. You see, that's always an option. We can always cheat death. So yeah. So now he's trapped in there. He's terrified. And I reckon, yeah, he's gonna try and get out. Now he's mangled. He does level up, ironically enough. So there you go. If we manage to cheat death, we'll be fine. And again, he tries to get out, but doesn't, leaving him incapacitated. So we're going to so he's dead, right? He's died. And everyone, he's dead. We've defeated the barbarian. Anyway, we go visit Death. And we're going to go try and cheat Death. So, do we cheat Death? 10. Yes, we cheat Death. We go visit Death. Death is a beautiful woman. It appears to be a beautiful woman to Resma anyway. Pale skin, dressed in flowing black garb. And she's like, "It is not your time, child. Return." Right? And Resma, wait, so we've cheated death 1 time. So basically, the cheated death counts as a negative modifier to your cheat death roll, right? So we awaken. Fortunately, right, we've leveled up as well, right? So that's a thing. So we've leveled up. Cool. Almost kind of we've died, right? Dying is a fine way to level up. I've not actually got a holder here for a level, so if we go level 2, which I think gives us and I think dying removes all of your negative magical effects, right? So that's one way to get rid of them, the curses and the eggs and all the rest of it. I reckon the mushrooms were all destroyed by the beastie. And I reckon all of his all of his equipment is destroyed by the black pudding, right? Why wasn't his body destroyed by the black pudding? Well, clearly it was restored when he was revived. So everything's kind of left this arena, and he kind of wakes up naked, battle axe next to him. We could give him a new special. What do we think would be a new special for our barbarian? I think we'll think about that in the future. Something that isn't outrageous. We'll think about it later. Right now, we I think every second level we'll get a new attribute point that we can disperse. So now we just get the extra. So if we go if we went if I get out my logbook for a moment, here we go. Right? If we go get out the logbook, just to note down this idea, right? So if we went even levels, new, special, odd, new. What I should have is I should actually, now that I think about it, right? So if you go levels, right, and then you'd have options, like so, new luck point, special, new attribute, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Harm, bruised, harm, level, right? And then like a exceptional power or something, right? So you'd have something like that. Possibly divided into like a basic and enhanced, right? So if you go like 1 through 5, 6 through 10, right? So you'd put the exceptional over here, but yeah, something like that. But I feel returning from the dead. Now let's finish this dungeon, right? So we've woken up. Kesmer is like sat there naked, feeling surprised, I think would be the word that we use. Feeling surprised. And they look around, there's nothing here. So they're going to head out this door. Actually, maybe they're gonna have a look around the altar, see if there's anything interesting in the altar. We're gonna do a spot roll for all intents and purposes. 9, cool. Right, so we discover a secret entrance. So there's a secret entrance behind here, but we put the magic key in, and it goes into like a magical. It goes into a treasure room, right? Also, the thing that we just nicked has disappeared. The object we nicked. Treasure room. Right? And I reckon in here, there's sacks of gold and magic items and all sorts. So, including the magic item that's been, the 2 items that have been nicked off of us. So we take those back, stick them in our bag. Well, stick them in a new bag, so we find a new sack in here. And, right. 1,000 gold, 1,000 coins, 1,000 gold pieces. No, a whole pile of gems, right? So we get a pile of gems. And let's ask, do we find a magic weapon, right? Let's ask. Fate questions. Do we find a magic weapon? Do we find a magic weapon? Question mark. 15, yes. We do. We find a magic weapon. I should also note in the little log here, we died. We died fighting the slime, the black pudding slime thing. And then cheated death. And then cheated death. Awesome. So we find a magic weapon. Power 93 sword. Okay, right. So it's a sword. How cliche. So we've lost our magic hammer, but we have instead gained, the old classic, right? The old classic-y, there's like a magic gem in here, right? And fucking huge ass sword, right? And it's got kind of like a magical aura around it, right? Magic magic sword, and our magic key has disappeared. Right? When we use it to open this door, so we get this magic sword. Magic sword plus a pile of gems. So we got a pile of gems. Whoa, all sorts of shinies, and we find that the magical we find the armor that we were looking for, and yeah, cool. Magic sword of power, magical sword of power. Okay, so we've got to note down it's a magical sword of power. Magic sword, magical sword of power found in secret treasure room. I reckon this treasure room. Oh well, we found the armor in here, so they must know about it. So let's go. Does anyone find us whilst we're in here? Question. Fake question. Do we get found? Do we get found while looking about? No, we don't get found whilst looking about. So we're good. We rob up, leave the place, and then head off. Right. So next room. We're at +8 now. 8 pp. D10. 2 + 8, so that's a 10. Negative descriptor. We're getting used to this now. This level of the table, these mid-roll rolls. We don't do doubles because it's boring. 6 + 3, that's 14. Right, object descriptor, OD, and then 3 + 8 is 11 expected. So, negative descriptor, 16. Colorless, 82. Simple, 97. Warning. So I reckon in this off here, there's kind of like a cave, but it's full of like crystalline geodes, right? And they're throbbing. They're throbbing, veritably throbbing, kind of a pulsing green, which is dangerous, danger. Because I reckon this is a radiation, underworld radiation, right? And I reckon underworld radiation will do something weird to us if we're not careful. So object descriptor, there's a 20. A container, 60. 28. Okay, so there's some kind of container put here. Hidden. It's hidden behind a wall, so let's roll for avoid danger, right? So we're going through this, trying to not get woo. There we go. Happy days. Go through here, we find the object, right? We go through here, we find this wee container. Inside the container is and we've got an expected in here, right? So inside the container is someone has hidden adventuring gear here, right? That's what's in here. We've not been tracking our time, but I mean we died, so I suppose that kind of resets our clock anyway. So we're back to 2. Funny, we've not managed to get above 2 on the time tracker. So we avoid getting irradiated by weird underground radiation. We get the container, and we exit into the next area. D10. We're now at negative descriptor. So it was a underground radiation emitted from green glowing crystals. OD container, hidden container with adventuring gear, dungeon gear, and then expected was for dungeon gear, right? So next room. D10 plus 9 PP. We're on 9 PPs. 6 plus 9 is 15. There we go, at last. An exit. And 5 plus 9, 14. An object descriptor. So, exit, EX. We have an exit. We have a object descriptor. And we have a negative descriptor. Let's do a negative descriptor. 9. Bright. 53. Meaningful. Okay, bright and meaningful for the negative descriptor. Bright and meaningful. And then for the object descriptor, OD, we're going to have 42. 42 is full. And 71 is powerful. Something that is full and powerful. Powerful and full. Full and powerful. I mean, that's like a battery, right? Battery for the weird machine device, right? So that's what that's what that is. So it's sat on the floor. It's kind of like on the floor. It's kind of like like so. Yeah, supercell plus. Right. So you find on the floor. So your pockets that. Negative descriptor, bright and meaningful. And the exit from the dungeon. And one of the exits from the dungeon, right? From a dungeon. This might not even be the same dungeon anymore. Good question. Fake question. Are we leaving the same dungeon we entered? Question mark. 2 chat. Yes, okay, right. Yeah. So it is the same dungeon that we left a little while ago. We didn't get transported across the land. So what's that negative? Yeah, and I reckon the negative. It's there's a powerful brightness emitted from the walls. So I reckon that radiation is really strong in here. So let's just ask, right? Do we get affected by the underworld radiation? Do we get affected by underworld radiation? Question mark. Fiddlesticks. That's definitely not what I wanted. I wanted control copy, not whatever that was. Question. Yes, very yes. Okay. Let's go drive through RPG for a second, and let's open up my copy of Operation Unfathomable. Yeah, let's go in here. Why Operation Unfathomable? Well, because Operation Unfathomable had a funny table in it. Actually, there's another book behind me that I could probably use, because I've got the Mutant Crawl Classic book. Can we have a single page view, please? Yeah, thanks. Where are we? Magical underworld radiation. Magical underworld radiation. D12. Two. Okay, right, fine. All his hair falls out. Rapid onset, full body hair loss. Okay, cool. Let's make a note of that. Yes. Suffers a rapid onset, full body hair loss. Oh, goodness. That means his eyebrows have gone as well. And his eyelashes. He's going to be having a horrible time. He's going to have to get some kind of special, like absorbing foam kind of stuck where his eyebrows once were. So all of his hair is gone. Well, it will be in like a couple of hours after leaving the dungeon. Okay, cool. Well, I reckon that's where we'll wrap that up today. So it's been Saturday morning, and now it's Saturday afternoon. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed every second of this ridiculous journey through this ridiculous place, and we'll see if we can find something exciting in the future to be even more beholding and entertaining to you, my fine-blooded, well-feathered audience. Don't be feathered. That's probably a bad thing, right? And I'm going to get to check to see whether or not anything was even audible with the microphone stuck above everything, as opposed to below everything. But if it's below everything, I can't type, right? That's just a nuisance. Oh dear. Oh, my legs hurt. Yeah, so I'm definitely thinking about upgrading the slimeness to something that is more expressive, got more bits going on, more exciting. We'll see, right? See if I can find someone that I want to commission and all the rest of it, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I wonder what we're gonna. I've got a session with a friend later on today that I'll be running. Same setting, same. The person who's currently about to release a dragon. Also, I think look at that map's pretty cool. Just for a randomly generated user this location generator kind of map. I really like this one-page location crafter. I think it's really, really good. I think it makes really interesting adventure sites for solo play, and I think co-op play as well. So that you can have some kind of consistency in the dungeon or in the location, because it doesn't necessarily need to be a dungeon. So you could be exploring a company office or anything, right? Because of the way the tables work. So I'm thinking my Tuesday slot, I'm not going to replace it with another OSR title. I might replace it with Werewolf. And I'm looking at my RuneQuest books over there. My RuneQuest books over there. And I'm thinking maybe I'll do something with RuneQuest at some point. But I'm kind of getting the feeling that this session is kind of sating a lot of my desire to be playing a more fantasy adventure setting. At the moment, I don't know if it always will. But it definitely feels kind of good at the moment. I thought Star Trek yesterday was kind of good fun. I do find sometimes the captain's log system a bit funny to use. I feel like I run more into nonsensical answers. Even more nonsensical answers than I do with these tables. I think I need to sit down at some point and make a couple of tables. I might do that on stream. Make some description tables and see how they work out. For things like afflictions, we had afflictions there and I had to go off and find something because, there wasn't anything. Yeah, cool. Top bananas. I'm enjoying CyberGen. I think CyberGen's going good. I kind of
narrowing down the number of characters that we follow on that. And I am thinking a lot about Werewolf. Did I mention Werewolf? I'm thinking a lot about Werewolf. And Fading Sun should be cool. I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. So lots of things that I'm enjoying. And I'm getting to actually run the sessions as opposed to what I normally do, which is do absolutely nothing and just be bad at everything. So anyway, yeah, I hope your Saturday's wonderful, or whatever day you're encountering this on. If you've got this far, you're clearly, well, just using it for background noise, which is perfectly fine. That's what I use most YouTube and streams and all the rest of it for, just to have a body double. So I've discovered that I do work really, so this is kind of like having a body double, right? So this is kind of like body doubling for me. But also, so this is, doing this is like body doubling, because I found that when I was doing hobby day with my housemate, which is one of the reasons why I kind of went off the boil, the body doubling where we both sat down and kind of like painted figures and stuff was really good for getting me to like finish stuff. And I feel this is the same, right? I feel that I get to actually start and do things when I'm streaming, which I don't get to do otherwise. And one day maybe we'll have a massive audience of excited and engaged individuals. But anyone who enjoys it, I'm happy. And if you need it to body double so that you do your chores or kind of have fun or whatever it is, more than happy to be here. So yeah, it's fun. And I mean, I can just do rambling streams, because regardless, I'm pretty good at just sitting here talking to myself, talking to space. Thinking, gee whiz. I was playing a lot of Mega Mech. I'm sure I've mentioned this, right? Which is kind of like a BattleTech turn-based thingy, which looks like a spreadsheet access database. Problem is sometimes it like throws up really annoying engagements, but fortunately it has a manual resolution, so you could just go in and say, hey, yeah, this is what happened. Because I did one mission. I'm currently stuck on a low gravity planet, so everything moves really slowly, which is bad on every front. It means games last way longer than they should, and it means my defense numbers are way lower than they should be. Anyway, it sucks. But yeah, top bananas. You have fun. I'm off. So long. It's been a pleasure. Loved every second of it. See you maybe tomorrow, depending on how I feel, but definitely Monday, if not. And I'll tell you all about how